It's roadmap time, the first one for Train Sim World 5, where we'll see more details of what we're getting. I'm going to skip the TLDR, because that's not why we're here. Alrighty, here's the first roadmap graphic. It's the same as the one shown in the direct, but I will go through it. I got my shirt. Yeah. You don't have to stick on a post-it note anymore. Anyway, for Train Sim World 5, in the deluxe edition, which is what we're looking at here, West Coast Main Line, Frankfurt Fulda, San Bernardino, Flixtrain Vectron, Avanti West Coast Pendolino, and a add-on of MBTA Commuter will come into the next 0 to 3 months. So we know the first 5 are coming on September 17th, September 12th for early access. MBTA Commuter is a little later. Then further down the track, release dates to be confirmed. Foul Ludwig Bahn, West Coast Main Line, Preston Carlisle, Cardiff City Network, Wales, Spoyen Zwally Groningen, Tadami Line, and a new route by Alan Thompson. Remaster of the Great Western Express, gameplay packs for East Coast Main Line Diesel Pack, and Santa Fe Gameplay Pack. One of those is from Athena, which is new, and High Iron, also new. New loco from Simtrack Studios, and it's German. BR Class 104 and Peak Forest expansion from Simtrack as well. Patches for the PC editor, Colin Arkin timetable update, and the 5 Circle 11 branch from Rivet. Alrighty, let's get into the roadmap. But before we do, the reason I read this out is not everybody can get to where this is. Not everybody wants to do the giant read. Some people just want to hear it in the form of a bit of a podcast. This improves the accessibility of the information, and I usually chuck in a little bit of my own commentary as well. Alrighty. The roadmap is something that comes out regularly if you're new, but if you're not, let's go. Alright. Now, one thing that wasn't clear before but is now based on this graphic, there is the free starter pack. I'll say it again. Make sure you claim it between September the 17th and October the 17th so that you get a free upgrade to Train Sim World 5 from any previous version. Your DLCs will come over from any previous version, with the exception of the original NEC route. That one was abandoned a long time ago. Your progress and points and profile will come over from TSW 2, 3 or 4. Okay, new players can also claim the Train Sim World 5 starter pack and have a play in the training centre to see if they like the game before they shell out on routes. There will be 3 regional editions for the UK starter pack plus West Coast Main Line, Germany starter pack plus Frankfurt Fulda, USA starter pack plus San Bernardino line. In the standard edition, there will be the West Coast Main Line, the Frankfurt Fulda, and the San Bernardino, and an exclusive decal pack. In the deluxe edition, there will be also, apart from a standard edition plus, the Flixtrain BR193 Vectron, the Avanti West Coast BR Class 390 Pendolino, and Cajon Pass. If you already have Cajon Pass, it's the same one, it will just come over. There's 5-day early access for Deluxe Edition and Special Edition from the 12th of September. Standard Edition and the Regional Editions and the Starter Pack all become available on the 17th of September. So, if the FOMO is going to get you know what you got to do. There's 2 exclusive decal packs in the Deluxe Edition. In the Special Edition, 2 more exclusive decal packs. I assume they're different ones since that doesn't cross the border. Plus all standard and deluxe edition benefits. You also get Bakerloo, Castle Wurzburg, New York Trenton, London Overground Suffragette, and Bremen Oldenburg. All editions get the features of Live Map 2, Conductor Mode, Route Hopping, Fast Travel, Training Centre, Photo Mode, and Digital Display Screen enhancements. Okay. We'll be covering this in more detail across 2 articles. Part 1 today. Part 2 is also out, so I'll get straight into that in a moment. We'll focus on the new routes and locomotives you will find in Train Sim World 5, sharing more information about everything we announced in yesterday's Dovetail Direct, which was... it was yesterday. Yesterday? No, it was a couple of days ago. Insights from the Dovetail development team, and of course the all-new exciting screenshots to dive into before release. In the Part 2 article, which came out today, we'll dive into all new core features we've implemented and improved in TSW 5, and check in with our third-party partners for TSW on their upcoming projects. If you want all the information on Train Sim World 5, head to our TSW 5 FAQs master page. We will also be posting separate dedicated articles for each of the 3 new core routes to explore the timetables, key route features, and service scenario specifics, which you can expect starting next week. I will put a link to the FAQs into the video's description. Today, there was a live for the roadmap, so you can go and watch that if you want to. Coming up on the 29th is the West Coast Main Line preview, September the 5th, the San Bernardino line preview, and September 11th, the day before early access, the Frankfurt Fulda preview. On September 17th, launch day Let's Play, be a more casual stream. If you prefer to catch all this information in video form, you can watch the Dovetail Direct. I'll put a link to that in the video as well. As a fun bit of trivia, the passive sounds heard during the countdown were taken directly from San Bernardino Station, and if you caught the sneaky hints of the new TSW5 main menu music at the stroke of each hour, then why not enjoy the full soundtrack? It's actually playing right now. Train Sim World 5 Train Sim World 5 routes and logos. Where did Boston come from? Stupid brain. West Coast Main Line, London Euston to Milton Keynes. Complex layout within London Euston, access to across to Milton Keynes. Busy mainline commuter action on the 4-track West Coast Main Line. Full London Overground Lioness line is included. And there's a Class 710 layer available for suffragette linos. If you're new to the game, if you own the suffragette line, that means you will get the 710 and you'll see it on the Lioness. Deluxe Edition players also get the Avanti West Coast Class 390 Pendolino. The route is set in London, UK for the most part, and it's 50 miles long, 80 kilometres, 28 train stations, and you included in the pack are the BR Class 350/1, the Southern BR Class 377/2, the DB Cargo BR Class 66 and FKA wagons, and the London Underground 1972 Mark II stock. Diving right in has been... WCML has been the most requested UK route to date. So get ready to get swept off your feet. Well, there you go. You can see here a screenshot with the 377 on the right and the 350 on the left. What makes West Coast Main Line so requested? The culmination of sheer variety that comes together in this route is a sight to behold. We've spoken among ourselves about the desire to go west for a long time, but the challenge was always how do we get all the vastly different trains together? Well, thanks to the passage of time and many development efforts throughout Train Sim World's history, we have the Class 377/2, a conversion of the 377/4, 1972 stock from the Bakerloo line, which is included with updated lighting and rain effects, the ever-versatile Class 66, although now sporting its more modern DB Cargo UK livery, and the Class 710 layering in from the suffragette line. It's actually good that the Bakerloo stock's getting an update, and I hope that finds its way back into the Bakerloo route itself, because it suffers a bit since we went to Todd 4 lighting. And then all it was needed was the addition of the new Class 350 and the Class 390 in Deluxe. And we would finally have all the pieces to bring the West Coast Main Line to Train Sim World with the variety it needed, with a screenshot of the 350 with the 377 on the right and the 710 off on the left. What does a run look like from end to end? A run up or down the West Coast Main Line, whether you're in a stopping service or an express run, is just thrilling. From top to bottom, the whole route is never less than 4 tracks wide, and with the addition of Transport for London services in the Greater London area too, catch the right moment and the trains can be on either side of you. The 28 stations on the route are all served by different kinds of services and operators. It will take several different runs before you're able to visit them all, and everything has its purpose. See a screenshot here with a 66 in DB red with a 350 in the platform. Most challenging part of developing this route, as can be expected with a route of this size, the timetable represents perhaps the most complex and dynamic challenge. Unlike Brighton Main Line, which was dozens of the same trains doing the same things, or South Eastern High Speed with the busyness spread out across vastly different areas of the route, this is all crammed into one main line. As such, getting the services to work together can prove troublesome. Why is a Bakerloo line trait? Oh, because this overground service is being held up at Euston by this 350, which is stuck behind a 377, itself lagging behind a 66. You get the idea. This is a view from the 350's cab. Pretty close to a lot of the others. Points of interest on the route for players to look out for. It's London, so of course there are buildings everywhere, but the highlight ones for me are the BT Tower, Wembley Stadium, and while curving out of Euston, the line is eclipsed by the pinnacle of Camden's brutalist architecture, namely the Alexandra Road Estate, with its staggered concrete apartments almost overhanging the down-fast line. Away from London, and there's still nice things to spot, the under-construction east-west rail line at Bletchley is a nice glimpse of the future, as is the work to build HS2 at Euston, of course. But there's also two things to point out near Cheddington. To the south of the station, you pass by the tranquil Pitstone Wharf Marina, complete with canal boats, and to the north, the West Coast Main Line races over the very short but notable Bridge Egu Bridge. Is that like Bridgie the Bridgeface Bridge? Formerly known as Mentmore Bridge. But now we thought we'd make it something hard to pronounce. But it's more historically known as the site of the Great Train Robbery. Stick 'em up. Unique features primarily for the Pendolino, but the use of EPS or Enhanced Permitted Speed boards on the West Coast Main Line is fairly unique among UK routes overall. Unlike traditional speed boards, which can offer a blanket line speed for all traffic or reduced speed for locomotives and freight trains, the EPS boards allow for a speed limit higher than that of the actual speed limit, with the caveat that only applied to stock with tilt enabled. So just being in a 390 is not enough. If for any reason you have the tilting system isolated, you would be expected to follow traditional speed limits. A screenshot of a 350. What's your favourite part of the route? We were chatting with Daisy, who you may remember from her support on Birmingham Cross City, or the scenery additions to South Eastern High Speed, and her words on the matter were very much reflected our own. Daisy, it's got to be the approach to Euston, seeing the iconic telecommunications tower on the skyline come into view as you enter the platforms at 25 miles an hour, one of the rare UK stations where the line speed is so high entering a terminus station. Make sure to slow down well before the buffers though, as TPWS will still get you if you're not approaching the buffers with care. There's a screenshot of the Pendolino and a bunch of people wandering around. Some details on the Pendolino. It's the iconic unit for the UK, fully refurbished by Advanti West Coast. 9 and 11 car variants included to represent the whole fleet. Primary traction on the West Coast Main Line for 20 plus years, collectively travelled over 300 million miles. It has tilting technology for leaning into curves. See, the APT wasn't wasted after all. The iconic Class 390 Pendolino in the Advanti West Coast livery. We're checking in with insights from Tom Walters, our lead artist on Train Sim World, who helped us recreate this heavily requested locomotive. The Pendolino, is it a locomotive or is it a train? The Pendolino is finally in TSW. Why should everybody get excited? Advanti have been a cooperative partner for us to work with, allowing our teams to source much of the labelling, branding and detail straight from the source during our reference trips to Advanti in Wolverhampton, and ensure the utmost accuracy when recreating the locomotive. We have a screenshot of the 390. The Class 390 will bring high-speed operation to West Coast Main Line at Advanti's freshly refurbished train sets, available in both 9 and 11 car variants as it races along the West Coast Main Line at up to 125 miles an hour, and providing a thrilling counterpart to complement the start-stop commuter services offered by the Class 350. We have a Pendolino next to the apartment buildings. And for a quick mention with Adam, our senior audio designer, our audio teams were also able to use the opportunity to grab authentic recordings with a static 390, and for moving sounds we've used resources and support working with members across the community. Another screenshot of the 390. And what makes the Pendolino special to the West Coast Line? You can't think of the WCML in modern times and not think of the Class 390 Pendolino. It has been plying its trade, ferrying commuters and travellers alike up and down the West Coast Main Line for the last 20 years, with it showing no sign of slowing down anytime soon, besides at scheduled stops. What unique features stand out for the Pendolino and Transiem world? It goes without saying, but the Class 390 is equipped to tilt, hence the moniker of Pendolino. This allows it to handle the topography of the West Coast Main Line without sacrificing speed by means of tilting into curved sections of track. We've only scratched the surface with tilting trains in TSW previously, so it's exciting to be able to introduce the new additions with the release of TSW 5 with both the Pendolino and the ICET. Another screenshot of the Pendolino sitting in a platform. Looks like it's starting to depart in the rain. There will be a West Coast Main Line and Avanti Pendolino preview livestream on the TSW channels August 29th, 2024, where you can see them in action ahead of the launch. Now, let's go over to America with the San Bernardino line, Los Angeles to San Bernardino. Dense suburban scenery with roads, highways, town blocks, a unique highway running experience in the middle of a highway. Metrolink CMF in Los Angeles and EMF in San Bernardino are all accessible. Deluxe Edition players also get to operate BNSF freight layers with Cajon Pass. If you already own Cajon Pass and you're buying the pack, you can use your Cajon Pass with this, it's fine. Set in Los Angeles in California, USA, 57 miles long or 92 kilometers, 16 train stations. Metrolink MP30PH-3C, excuse the hiccups, Metrolink F125 Rotom cars and cab car, and the Bombardier cars in 2 livery variants. And the Rotoms and the Bombardiers do intermix just like they do in reality. In fact, you can see that in that train there on the left in the shot. This is predominantly a single line railway, so don't expect a huge amount of busyness in your travels. To give us more insight on what you can expect, we've asked our artist Sam, who worked closely developing some of the environment art across the line. So we can see here the LA end of the line at the familiar station, same one as used in the other LA route, Lancaster. What excites you the most about San Bernardino? Lots of variety, hidden nooks, and long sightlines make for a visual feast. San Bernardino has a little to offer everyone from urban to rural, from passenger to freight. The MP36 looking out on the line there. If you're looking for something unique, a large section of the route has highways running parallel to the track, which can make for some very interesting screenshots in photo mode. Oh, and crossings. Lots and lots of crossings. So we're sitting in the middle of the freeway. You can see there's one car there that's actually slightly floating. Must be the hoverboard version. It'll be interesting to see whether there's enough traffic to actually justify this being an LA freeway. I mean, that looks like the kind of traffic you could have at 2 o'clock in the morning, so I guess they have limits to how far you can push performance. I'm personally very fond of the Rialto area. It has a rural feel to it, and that brings its own charms. The station has a wonderful old wooden building with some innate features like lamps and signage. What does a run look like from end to end? Head out of the busy LA Union, saunter past the LA River, or the concrete trough that used to be a river, slowly leaving downtown behind and meandering into the suburbs. Past the road chaos of Cal State, we travel onwards towards the small but unique stations that highlight this route. The likes of Hollywood-inspired El Monte, the murals and wooden canopies of Baldwin Park, past the Speedway station with its racetrack, and onto pink slate canopies of Fontana and the old world feel of Rialto, with much, much more in between. Then we leave all that behind as we enter San Bernardino. Large yards and sprawling city greet us, with the freight-heavy San Bernardino depot and the passenger terminus in San Bernardino downtown, with some cool artwork in the background there. Do you have any areas on the route for players to look out for? Speedway station. This is only used when race events are on, which is often quiet, but not too far from the track is the now NASCAR-owned circuit. We also have the Mastery Tower linked with this location. Olive Pit Mining Quarry in Baldwin Park. The track runs alongside this mining quarry, and it's quite the spectacle to behold. Freeway Spaghetti Junction, Cal State Station, has a wonderful view of the intricate dance of the San Bernardino and Long Beach freeways. San Gabriel River Trail. The track crosses the meandering, dried-up river bend between El Monte and Baldwin Park, home to a cornucopia of vegetation. You can see the MP36 here, wending its way between some lower-income housing. How have our teams gathered audio for the sounds of the MP36PH? Metrolink have been incredibly kind to us. They put us on our own private train to record the mainline running sounds of the MP36 and the rest of their fleet. They even took us the full length of the line. It was just us on it, no public. We were very lucky. It was definitely going above and beyond, which is a really memorable moment. You can see the train sitting in the station at night time at Covina. You can thank Danny for a lot of the nighttime stuff. I actually saw him doing it when I visited the UK. He was popping lights everywhere. Most challenging part of developing San Bernardino, much of the route is flat with long sightlines leading for large distances to scenic mountains. On top of that, there's a lot of sprawling with dense cities and suburbs. This provides fantastic opportunities for screenshots in photo mode, particularly with its new features, but was also challenging combo. We wanted to capture these visuals, the essence, and keep the game performing smoothly. Additionally, for those who pick up Train Sim World 5 Deluxe Edition, you'll also be given the Cajon Pass route to add on. If you've already got it, you can use it. A Californian route featuring BNSF operated stock, including the ES44C4 and SD40-2 locomotives, and this will perfectly link to San Bernardino line via the new route hopping feature available at San Bernardino Station, or hop on over to the Antelope Valley line via Los Angeles Station. You can see the passenger service running over the top of a BNSF halt pumpkin set. Watch the first peek of San Bernardino and Train Sim World 5 features on our livestream preview event on September the 5th on the TSW YouTube channel. Now it's time to go to Germany for Frankfurt, Fulda, Kinzigturban. Busy main line with many stations. Frankfurt, the busiest German main station, via Hanau to Fulda, stations of different types and sizes, and deluxe edition players get Kermit the Train, otherwise known as Flixtrain with the BR193 Vectron. Excuse me, having a little drink there. It's hard work reading all this out. Set in Frankfurt, Germany, 64 miles or 103 kilometres long with 24 train stations. In the pack there is the DBBR 411 ICE-T, DBBR 193 Vectron, DBBR 423, DBBR 146.2, DBBR 114, Dostos and Cabcar, Kidgels, Smiggers and Habens freight wagons. Let's twist into the newest German route with Kinzigturban, which packs a whopping 103 kilometres of tracks between Frankfurt and Fulda Hauptbahnhof. Expected the whole host of variety, and you turn and bank around the scenic Kinzig Valley aboard the tilting DBBR 411 ICE-T, shuttle along the line in the regional DBBR 114 plus Dostos, and haul freight along with the mighty DB Vectron. James is back to tell us more. I've got a screenshot of the ICE-T tilting around a corner. Why should players be excited? Germany's second busiest station says it all. Starting a route in Frankfurt has been a goal for a long time, especially for our producer Lucas, who is very familiar with the railways in Hesse. Frankfurt is a great hub for all types of passenger services, but our focus will be the regional intercity and ICE services, which immediately turn 180 degrees and embark on the 100-kilometre run to Fulda, which you may know as the midpoint of Kassel Wurzburg. This means that there is something for everyone. 5 trains are included, with even more of your collection layering in. The audio teams went out to Germany for a recording trip to get sounds on the ICE-T and recorded them both statically and moving at specific speeds. We see Frankfurt main Hauptbahnhof signal box there. What does a run look like from end to end? That varies on the type of service you are running, but by far the most dynamic are the ICE-T services. As we get into later, the GST tilting functionality is an immediate transformation of the experience. But it also keeps you engaged in the cab, as there are multiple systems you will interact with, PZB and CIFA of course, but G&T plays a key role in the enhanced speed limits of tilting trains, and on top of that there are also sections of LZB scattered about the route. You certainly get a sense of varied driving all while passing regional and other intercity traffic, sections of the Frankfurt S-Bahn, and also interacting with freight along the road. We can see a 193 Vectron in DB red, leading a freight train. Making 24 stations for a route like this is always a challenge. Despite already having Fulda as a starting point, there was still half a dozen big stations to make, including Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof of course, but also the ones in between that get us to the total. And of course no route this complex would be complete without authentic track, and ensuring all the curves and junctions are correct can be a very engaging and time-consuming task. Cruising along here in what is probably a Vectron, heading up to a 143 with some Dostos. The main highlights of the show is the scenery around Frankfurt, from outskirts to financial hub skyline. It's built up all the way between Hochbahnhof and Hanau. Bespoke buildings and thriving industry populate the ground. Meanwhile, we have also taken the time to fill out the route above the horizon. Look out for aircraft, following the realistic flight paths and holding patterns across the city. There's an ICET cruising into the station, or out, one or the other. While not unique in isolation, this is the first route which has previously mentioned combination of LZB and GNT, meaning there will be moments of semi-automated speed supervision, as well as sections that allow the ICT to go faster than other trains. This means that even driving other ICE layers such as the ICE1 differs compared to the ICET. There are also sections without either system. Unprotected. You might expect to say Frankfurt is the favourite part of the route, but that feels like it's too obvious. I'm actually going to call out a short section just outside Feilden Station to accommodate diverging junction. There is a brief moment where the main running lines diverge, and then shortly after they diverge again and run into single-bore tunnels. That section is just something to marvel at, especially in the ICET. Leaning around a single track section gives the route a fleeting rural feel, and that such modern trains don't belong. But they do. And that's one of the sections I look forward to on every run. There's a screenshot of a 114 curving its way through the undergrowth. Flix train. For the second of our deluxe edition locos, get ready for the verdant flavour to the Kensingtalbahn with additional Flix train traction. Vectron and Talbot coaches wear the neon green for iconic cross-country rail travel. So there's additional intercity services on Frankfurt Fulda, new Talbot coaches in the Flix Train green livery. Flix Train is a new operator for DTG. And did I mention Kermit? I did. The Flix Train is special. For starters, it's not red. It sounds simple, but it's always a fantastic opportunity to get additional operators for Germany in particular, as it allows us to break up the constant flow of red and white trains, and you can't get more contrasting than bright green. Operationally, Flix Train also presents the chance to recreate long-distance services all across our German routes in TrainSim World. With free roam and scenario planner, the Verdant Vectron is at home on Kollenacken, Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr, Mainz-Bessetbahn and Munich-Augsburg. So you're putting it there with free roam. Don't expect layers at this time. From a quick glance, you'd be forgiven the thinking all Vectrons are the same, but under the magnifying glass, subtle differences start to pop up. The outward appearance is in all fairness the same. The Vectron is a Vectron with that distinctive front end. Of course, the liveries make all the difference, and each one gives it a different feel. We can see a Flix Train green in the front, DB red in the middle, and the Railpool grey and blue in the back. The first thing one might notice, especially the Panto police among you, is that the Flix Train Vectron only has 2 pantographs rather than the 4 like DB and Railpool. This represents one key configurable difference. Not all Vectrons support the same electrification variety, and Flix Train being exclusively for German operation does not need setup for other countries, whereas DB Cargo and Railpool routinely make their way across the borders on Trans-Europe freights. The way that light catches each loco always reveals a slight distinction in construction methods. Both DB and Railpool Vectrons share a subtly ribbed body side, with the metal skin slightly bowing between the internal structure. But this is not present on the Flix Train Vectron. As you can see, with the same perspective, the body is smooth throughout. You only notice if you're looking for it, but these are the details that make all the difference. If anything, some of the more visible changes are actually in the cab. Different operators can spec their modular Vectron how they wish, so certain screen locations can vary between the variants, and as a result, all 3 Vectrons, which are now in TSW, offer a different forward-facing view and require looking in different places for the same information. Note also how the dedicated freight-only DB Vectron has no LZB. Doesn't need it because it can't go that fast. Aside from the aforementioned differences, the uniqueness of this Vectron is primarily used for passenger services, and as such comes with its own set of new to TSW Talbot cars. These cars are refurbished, classic throughout Germany, the Interregio UIC X type, so much as they can be used on Flix Train duties with some livery and formation designer work, they would look just as authentic behind an Orion Trot BR103. Screenshot of the Flix Train in platform. Catch a glimpse of Frankfurt Fulda and Flix Train Vectron on the livestream preview on September 11th, 2024, ahead of early access. Get on board with the free starter pack. Free free, 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 free. We love being closely involved across the many TSW communities, and we've come to understand that for many players there's growing desire for more accessible entry point to jump into the latest version of Transcend World. We're very excited and proud to reveal that this year we're providing a free opportunity to get onto the newest release across all our supported platforms with our free starter pack that joins the roster of Transcend World bundles. So whether you're an existing player or a new player, this gets you into the game with Training Center. If you're an existing player, it will upgrade your game to the latest version, and it will bring over all of your DLCs and your in-game progress and profile. Upgrade your game to the latest version or begin a whole new journey with the free starter pack. What's included? Training Center, Livery Designer, Free Roam, Formation Designer, and Scenario Planner. Yours to keep, claimed by October 17th. So you must claim it between September the 17th and October the 17th. Even if you're not interested in any of the bundle packs, make sure you claim this to be on the latest version of Transcend World. It will upgrade any version of Transcend World. It will bring over your profile and progress from Transcend Worlds 2, 3 or 4. There are no excuses for you to not do this, so anybody who's caught on the old versions of Transcend World after this, after October the 17th, well, it's on you. Remember, claim it. It's free. Free upgrade or free new install for those players who have yet to experience this game. You must claim it between September the 17th and October the 17th. After that, it will resume being paid. Alright, what is the Transcend World free starter pack? It gives you access to the Training Center and the core features of Transcend World 5 features that aren't tied to the route-based content. This pack won't provide you with any routes on its own, so if you're interested in the new Transcend World 5 content, you'll find more value in the premium bundles that include the routes and locos we've covered, and you can find breakdowns within the bundle packs. However, if you already play Transcend World on the same platform and account, you'll be able to bring any compatible add-ons you already own into Transcend World 5 to play them with the newest features. The only one that's not compatible is the ancient NEC that got abandoned a long time ago. On top of being a fantastic way for new players to begin their TSW journey, this is also a good benefit to existing players. The free starter pack allows you to access new add-ons released after the launch of Transcend World 5, even if you haven't purchased a core bundle, update any previously owned compatible routes to their current remastered variants, the West Somerset Railway, Cathcart Circle Line, or the upcoming Great Western Express. Explore any TSW patches you've missed out on your favourite routes if you weren't on the most up-to-date version of Transcend World. And once you've claimed your free starter pack, it's yours to keep forever. But as an important note, the offer to claim the pack will only be available for 30 days after the launch of Transcend World 5, and therefore will expire on the 17th of October 2024. So be sure to share the word. Let people know. It's free. No moaners about paywalls. You're not right. Also upcoming will be MBTA Commuter, Framingham to Worcester, Great Western Express Remaster, Falsish Ludwigsbahn, Mannheim to Kaiserslautern, Cardiff City Network in Wales, West Coast Main Line in Preston Carlisle, and Spooyins Wally Groningen, and I apologise to the Dutch. We hope you enjoyed the Take a Ticket reveal show in the Dovetail Direct, blah blah blah. Let's keep in mind, here we go, let's get on to the routes. MBTA Commuter, Bostonton to Framingham, Worcester Line. We're returning to Boston to embark on another journey across the MBTA commuter network. Instead of heading south towards Providence, this time we'll be heading west into the heart of Massachusetts along the Framingham-Worcester line. Let's see here, the pink and grey locomotive from MBTA. You'll be working the line with the existing FP40PH-3C as well as the distinctive new HSP46. Which you can see is already looking rather splendid. Accompanying the already existing single-deck BTC and CTC cars, highly anticipated and brand new double-decker MBTA equipment shall also be included. So this is the new cab car. At least it looks like it would survive hitting a car. These renders still undergo development, but we hope you'll be excited for more information. We're ready to share it. Great Western Express remastered in Transcend World 5. If you thought the West Somerset and Cathcart Circle remasters were blockbusters, you cannot imagine what is to come with incredible work by game designer Liam to bring you the Great Western Express remaster. And we can see a bunch of locomotives sitting in the sheds here. The oldest UK route in Trainsim world will soon be catapulted into more modern standards. Everything from volumetric skies to enhanced visuals, all the way to entirely rebuilt points of interest. A new timetable will be the perfect way to explore this refreshed route, and there may even be some extra surprises to see along the way. What's new for Great Western Express? Full route overhaul including TOD 4 lighting, new timetable, Great Western Express 2017, conductor mode on the HST Mark IIIs and the Class 166, updated landscape, scenery, signage, overhead line equipment, signals and track with TSW 5 shadows, updated lighting and weather effects for all GWE and Diesel Legend stock, upgraded both GWE Class 66s to the latest Class 66 specs, including suspension and audio. New and rebuilt landmarks, including Southall Depot, Old Oak Common and Ealing Broadway. Added new suspension physics to all GWE stock and Diesel Legends Class 08 Mark 1 and Mark 2s. And we can see a blue HST. Each remaster has accompanied some additional experience for you to enjoy the route in new ways. West Somerset came with the Steam Gala timetable, and Cathcart was supported with the release of the ScotRail Class 380. For Great Western Express, Liam is expanding the experience with additional layers and liveries. Black and blue, the HST and Class 166 will be available in unbranded blue livery. There will also be formations that mimic the Class 165. Going electric, the Class 387 will appear on the route in unbranded green, Airport and Gatwick Express liveries, complete with the appropriate numbering and making use of the overhead line equipment between Paddington and Hayes and Harlington. Under the ground, with kind permission from Rivet Games, the Class 484 will show up too, masquerading from its former life as D78 stock in an inspired unbranded livery. There's the D78 sitting alongside the 72 stock, sitting alongside the 166, sitting alongside the 66. Please note you will need to own Brighton Mainline and Island Line 2022 for the 387 and the 484 liveries respectively. These will be updates to those add-ons which then layer into Great Western Express. Of course, if you're an existing owner of Great Western Express in previous TSW titles, here's a reminder you'll be able to access TrainSim World 5 using the free starter pack and experience the remastered route at no extra charge. The next route in Germany, Pfalzisch Ludwigsbahn Mannheim Kaiserslautern. The German adventure continues along the scenic Karlswitz Ludwigsbahn as it was in 2014, heading west out of Mannheim Hochbahnhof, a hub for rail fanning if there ever was one. The route starts off with a pace, speeding along to Neustadt Weinstadt Hochbahnhof. It's then a slower ride from there, winding through the valley to Kaiserslautern. From 111 operated regional expresses to 425s on the Rhine-Neckar S-Bahn, there's lots of ride to look forward to, and yes, there's a station called Frankenstein. There we go, there's the list of stations. Looks like a nice windy route with some straight racetrack bits. West Coast Main Line Preston Carlisle from Just Trains. Just Trains teams are excited to announce West Coast Main Line Preston to Carlisle. See a bunch of 47s there. Actually, it's 47 and some others. No, it's 47 and some others dragging along some freight carriages there over the bridge. Just Trains, following on from the highly acclaimed Blackpool branches, Preston to Blackpool and Ormscourt route add-on, and its full speed north as the next route departs from the city of Preston and runs through detailed and highly immersive scenery through Penrith to the city of Carlisle, which, along with the option to drive the unelectrified Morecambe branch, gives you a total of over 100 miles to drive. There's the 47431 going over a bridge there. Set in the late 1980s, the route features the electrified core of the West Coast Main Line from Preston to Carlisle. However, you can operate DMU services on the Morecambe Promenade branch to the seaside. We have also extended the main line north from Carlisle Citadel Station to Kingmore Yard and Depot. There's a Pacer sitting in another station there, looking pretty decent. Just like Blackpool branches, there's a wealth of content for you to enjoy. The feature loco is the impressive, iconic and complex Class 87/0, along with the BR Mark 3A coaches and the FFA FGA Freightliner wagons. This 110 mile an hour rated locomotive provided power for the main services between London, Euston and Glasgow during the 1980s and will look at home as it storms through Loudon Gorge and onwards to the summit of Shap. An exciting and vibrant timetable along with an impressive mix of express freight and passenger services coupled with the Class 87/0 means that you will not miss West Coast Main Line Preston to Carlisle. Development has also started in their first loco add-on, which itself will be for West Coast Main Line and add even more highly anticipated variety. We announced 2 brand new countries coming to Train Sim World in the Dovetail Direct. Cardiff City Network from Wales. You know, I've got to love the Welsh language. Basically, the Welsh word for bus is bus. Yep. And they also take the piss out of the English. Expanding our breadth of UK content, we will be exploring rail operations on the other side of the Severn with our very first Welsh route. And where better to start than the capital city of Cardiff. Featuring a densely packed network within the city, intense passenger services will keep you busy aboard the Transport for Wales diesel multiple units operating through mini stations on various timetable patterns, a swift departure from the long intercity running of the West Coast mainline routes. You can see a few familiar names there from my recent holiday on the Cardiff City network. Spoilien Zwol Groningen, hello to Holland. A long anticipated arrival is on the way for rail fans as we get ready to enter another new country. And it's a first for Dovetail Games, the Netherlands. Express and commuter services are the mainstay of the route, operated by the Nederlandse Spoorwegen's iconic ICM3 Koplopper and SNG Sprinter New Generation EMUs. Learn new signals and systems as you dash along the countryside in yellow and blue fashion. It's a little further away, but we wanted to take this chance to share our excitement with a very work-in-progress render of the ICM3, complete with its iconic raised cab. Looks remarkably like some of the Japanese trains, so kind of cool. Checking in on Tadami Line from Union Workshop, speaking of Japanese trains, bringing us up to an astounding 3 brand new countries coming to Train Sim World during the Dovetail Direct. We also briefly mentioned the previously announced Tadami Line under development by Union Workshop, which will take you across the beautiful scenery of Japan. See a bridge over a river here. I do notice the river's very geometric and straight, so hopefully they'll introduce some of the newer features with weeds and things and water that you can see through. Today we have a few new work-in-progress environment screenshots to share from the team on current progress for the upcoming add-on, and we'll keep sharing more in our monthly roadmaps going forwards. This is one of the hill stations. Tadami Line's full of zigzags and switchbacks and all sorts of funny things, so it's a fun drive. It's not just a set and forget cruise. The final screenshot provided below is one Union Workshop asked us to highlight, known as the Mayashita Three Brothers, a famous train spotting point along Tadami Line, featuring 3 bridges within a single picturesque scene. It must be a bit hard on the Lods, they must actually force them to be there. Looks kind of cool. Wish there was a train on each one, that'd be fun. It's a bird. It's an Airbus. For the first time, we have been able to secure licensed aircraft in Train Sim World in the form of the Airbus A321LR and the Airbus A350-1000 XWB. As already mentioned for Frankfurt Fulda, this allows us to bring the skies above the cities to life in new ways, giving you something to look out for while on the move, providing it's not cloudy. Bunch of new planes. At least these ones won't fall on you when their doors fall out. As well as Frankfurt Fulda, you will also see aircraft above the skies of San Bernardino, Los Angeles for LAX patterns, as well as in the Great Western Express remaster for Heathrow patterns. Roadmap Part 2 will be out shortly. It's out already. I'll be recording that in just a moment and putting it out as a separate video. There we go. Oh yes, the new shadows. I was wondering what I was looking at for a moment there. The new shadows actually overdraw the top of the track and increase the distance for the shadows running ahead, so it's a bit better than what we had. Train Sim World VR New York, and the announcements kept coming. Also unveiled a VR title, Train Sim World VR New York, developed by our friends at Just Add Water. This is our way of taking the way you experience train simulation to a whole new world. From our announcement, we previewed some initial in-development gameplay of what you can expect, which you can watch again on the live event. Train Sim World VR New York. Now this isn't the Train Sim World game, just saying it's a totally different development. It's new. It may reuse some assets, but it's not the same game, so don't expect everything else to come into VR yet. You can check out the Meta Store page. It is only available for the Meta Quest. It will run on both the 2 and the 3. It is not available for other headsets, unfortunately. While this new VR title is part of the Train Sim World family, we wanted to clarify that existing add-ons for TSW will not be compatible with Train Sim World VR New York. Then there's Train Sim World Tycoon, aimed at the younger players. Further expanding the world of Train Sim World, we've been developing an all-new train experience called Train Sim World Tycoon with our friends at Tailwind, coming this year on the Roblox platform. This will be a free-to-play game that anyone can access with a Roblox account. Will feature multiplayer elements and suitable for all ages to jump in and enjoy. I have to say, Roblox has come quite a long way, and some of the stuff that the kids managed to do in Roblox is astounding. I was recently involved in an event with 2 user-generated content railways that are really, really good. And they had some hiccups. Roblox is a bit weird with trains, but, you know, it ran pretty well for the most part. And what the kids are putting together is awesome. So let's wait and see what this brings. We're hoping to reach out with new audiences to this title and get even more people excited about the rails. In TSW Tycoon, you will find trains inspired by real-world locomotives. These will feature simpler driving controls that support a wider audience, including those who may be younger, or just old people like me who think they're younger. Whilst playing, you will earn coins to upgrade your station over time to build your network and exploring the world. You will also encounter new biomes and characters within the game who will help you out. You'll also be able to encounter other players in a variety of ways, visiting other player stations or host receiving visitors of your own, ride along as a passenger on another player's train or invite them to join your journey, drive around the world alongside others in your trains, and you can catch some TSW Tycoon gameplay from the Dovetail Direct to see it in action. City Transport Simulator Tram. For fans of CTS Tram, during the Dovetail Direct there's a new update, and I'll do a separate video on the update shortly, and we might even play it this Sunday. There was the big road map live stream, which was on very early this morning for me. I caught the tail end of it when I got up at my usual time, but it started at 4 AM, so no, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I will actually go back and have a look, and I'll pop a link in for you as well. There we go. That's it for Roadmap August 2024 Train Sim World 5. First one, part 1. Alrighty, time to go and record part 2. Bye.
We played a game.